The Buffalo Bills have traded the 32nd pick to the Carolina Panthers. With the 32nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Xavier Legette, wide receiver, South Carolina.
They are of their word, sir.
Honest Dave.
That closes the first round. Thank you, Detroit, for a record-setting night. Don't forget, over the next 2 days, you can break the all-time NFL draft record. Thank you. See you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
And speaking of record-setting or record-tying, that's a record-tying 7th wide receiver taken in this first round that saw a record-breaking 14 offensive players go off the board consecutively to start it, and a record-breaking 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks. And this kid out of South Carolina said he was told this would happen.
Yeah, and he said they were taking him with the 33rd pick. Technically, they did lie. They took him with the 32nd pick. They traded up one spot.
He wasn't supposed to tell everybody.
No, that'll probably be the last time that happens.
That's the last time that conversation
But this is a
down.
big physical. You think about Deebo Samuel with that size and physicality. Some comparisons out there. Oh, could he be an A.J. Brown? Just look at the body type, 220 pounds. He's a big vertical weapon who goes up and wins a lot of these 50-50 balls down the field. Also has return background. There's not as much route polish there. He's going to need some work in that area. Be patient with him in that regard. But speed, physicality, size, slants, goes, over routes, that's going to be what he majors in.
And you mentioned the comparison, and that's going to be A.J. Brown. That's exactly what we're talking about in terms of the size, the speed, how physical he is running routes, and essentially a one-year full-time starter. Because he had been a part-time guy, Joel, throughout his time in South Carolina. But he also reminded me a little bit of Kenyon Drake in a different position. Because when Kenyon Drake came out of Alabama as a third-round pick, he helped make his bones as a special teams gunner. And this is exactly what Xavier Legette would do.
Wasn't this all in the news, Bucky? You brought it up. Dave Canales told Xavier Legette that he was going to take him.
He'll pick you. He said it. He told
But then Dave also said that I told that to about 50 different prospects.
Wow.
So.
After the cover was blown, that's what happened. But
yeah,
look, last year the Carolina Panthers took Jonathon Mingo, hoping that they could
Second
get a
round.
body playmaker on the outside. Didn't necessarily play much, didn't work out. So now they go back to the well. This guy was a terrific one-year player for South Carolina. Not one-year player, but he had a revelation in his final season at South Carolina where he really exploded, became the big-time vertical threat, caught the ball, he's physical. He just adds another weapon to the arsenal for the Carolina Panthers as they help Bryce Young take a huge step in year 2.
71 catches, just over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns there for Legette.
I had a scouting director comparing to Anquan Bolden. He just said, look, he's faster than Anquan, but he said the way his attitude on the field, his competitiveness, his physicality, he said he plays a lot like Anquan used to play. And Anquan was a 4.7 40 guy. Xavier Legette ran much better. But this is basically what we're talking about. Carolina had him circled. They knew where they were going, and they didn't want a chance of losing him to Buffalo. Buffalo gave a little bluff and said, you know what, we'll give you an extra little pick here. Take your little pick, Buffalo. We're getting our guy. We're not taking any chances, and we're getting a fifth-year on him, fifth-year option.
And Bucky, I think that's kind of interesting because for the Bills, you know, if he was their guy, they wouldn't be moving off that pick. So they feel pretty good about wherever
they
they're
let
at.
it come to them.
Yeah, they feel pretty good about who's going to be available day 2. They feel like maybe they can get a receiver in the second or the third round to complement it. But to me, it says that the Buffalo Bills believe in Josh Allen's ability to elevate the playmakers around him. We'll see if they're proven right.
The Indianapolis Colts have traded the 46th pick to the Carolina Panthers. Go Cardiac Cats. And with the 46th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Jonathon Brooks, running back, Texas.
So our
Keep
first
pounding, baby,
linebacker
keep
in the
pounding.
draft leads to our first running back in the draft.
Jonathon Brooks, look, he steps right in and is their most talented runner. Chuba Hubbard's there, Miles Sanders there, when healthy. Now, Jonathon Brooks is coming off of an injury. I think he's a better player. Look at his ability to play through contact. Talk about contact balance. His is exceptional. tremendous vision as well. Here's another example of him just breaking tackles down there on the goal line. You want to give Bryce Young an outlet out of the backfield. He catches the ball very well, as you see a couple of these one-handers, and then he can make something happen after the catch when he gets the ball in his hands out there in space. He had a monster year before he went down with an injury, Joel. I know you saw him, but this is someone, Bryce Young needed help. They got him a receiver last night. They turned around and gave him somebody he can hand the ball off to tonight.
It was so unfortunate that he went down with that knee injury. He was having a remarkable year, and he didn't have to carry the ball much in his previous couple of years because he sat behind Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, so he only had 51 attempts in his first 2 years at Texas. He is a slasher. He's very smooth. I thought his best trait, DJ, was his ability to not only pass protect, but also catch it out of the backfield. Being a threat as a running back is so important. And then the last thing, sitting with him before games in those production meetings, he is so mature. He is a leader of leaders, and that's a type of guy you want in your locker room, in particular at the running back spot.
Ian?
Rich, you guys mentioned the knee injury for Jonathon Brooks. It is a clean ACL tear during the season. Dr. Dan Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys did the surgery, which is why so many people thought he was going to Dallas. My understanding is recovery is on track and will be ready by July 1st, so before training camp.
JB, you can't keep pounding unless you have a running back that can help you keep pounding.
It is time for FedEx Air and Ground Players to Watch, presented by FedEx, and he's your top running back here, Lance.
My man, Jonathon Brooks, torn ACL late in the season. It was unfortunate. It was a clean tear. Everything is recovering. He is going to be on the field this year, and he's going to be a good player. I loved watching him play. He's got great feet. He's got loose hips. And what I really like about him is the ability to just run instinctively between the tackles. He feels lane development as he gets in there. He can stack moves without much thought. He doesn't, it doesn't take him... It's not hard for him to get from one move to the next move to the next move. I think when you watch him play and you watch him smoothly go in and out of space, he has great spatial relationship. He's not going to have the home run speed. That's something that is not going to happen. I don't think he's going to have the long long touchdown runs. But another area that you have to love is he can get out of the backfield and cause problems for defenses. And in this football right now, in this day and age, you have those 2-down pluggers at running back. I mean, those guys are a dime a dozen now. They just don't, people don't value them. Then you have a Jahmyr Gibbs who can do a little of this and a lot of that, and they're getting drafted in the first round. Jonathon Brooks can be a 3-down running back because he can also catch a ball out of the backfield. So he may not be as big a factor in year one, but I think year two, a year removed from that ACL tear, you're going to see a really good running back.
Man, I just think about how times have changed. The fact that he has torn an ACL, but yet he still goes in the second round. Normally, when you have a serious injury,
November,
it would be a round of 2 deduction on the final grade. So it really speaks to the talent. When I looked at him, he reminded me a lot of Jamal Charles in terms of how he's able to do it. Maybe it's the helmet, but this dude is a really, really impactful playmaker at the position.
And with the 72nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Trevin Wallace, linebacker, Kentucky. Let's go, Panther Nation.
Yeah, we haven't seen many linebackers. You just referenced the running backs. That's only the third linebacker, off-the-ball linebacker to get picked so far. Trevin Wallace, very explosive. You'll see that represented in the numbers with that 37.5-inch vertical. Downhill run stuffer. The lateral quickness to be able to beat blocks with your feet. He has that physicality up top to take on blocks, but more often than not, he's going to use his speed to beat those blocks that way. Big-time closing speed when he's able to get in the backfield. Again, we mentioned it earlier, Charles, backers on backs equals sacks. There's another example of it right there, of his ability just to overwhelm guys in the backfield.
And a little bit of Trenton Simpson coming out last year out of Clemson. That type of speed, get you upfield, go beat blocks and go make plays for him. Another part of that Kentucky renaissance. And he goes to a place in Carolina where we're always talking about taking care of Bryce Young, the quarterback, Joel. But defense is a big deal for Carolina. They've been pretty good on defense for a while, trying to beat things up. Shaq Thompson's been there a long time. Trevin Wallace gets to move in behind him and learn how to play.
I love his range and athleticism, and just in all levels of football, you've got to be a hybrid player as a linebacker and stay on the field on third down. I think he can do that.
With the 101st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Ja'Tavion Sanders, tight end, Texas. Keep pounding.
Yeah, he was someone I thought would come off the board yesterday. Very smooth mover. You see the name Isaiah Likely. When he was coming out of Coastal Carolina, didn't run as fast in the 40, but the tape was outstanding. I saw the same thing here with Jatavian Sanders. That 4.69, I think folks thought he would run much faster than that, but the play speed is what you pay attention to, and it was excellent there for the Texas Longhorns. Unbelievable hands. He can go up and get it. The catch and run, here he is against Baylor, working down the seam, the one-handed pluck and go. So he's a playmaker. You're drafting him for what he's going to give you in the passing game, not so much in the run game. But down here in the red zone, again, you see some of that route feel and route polish, be able to get into the end zone. He's going to be an asset for Bryce Young at third down weapon, middle of the field weapon, red zone weapon.
With the 157th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Chau Smith-Wade, defensive back, Washington State.
Well, that was a lot for one pick.
That was
There's a lot going on in that entire 7-minute run there, it felt like.
I like the front end of that if you were thirsty.
I did too. You had the beer steins and everything. It was looking good. I like what they do here. I think this cornerback is looking good as well. I think the big concern about Chau Smith-Wade is going to be the speed. When the play gets down the field, he loses speed, and I think you can attack him deep. That's one of the reasons why he's probably in the 5th round. But he's a belligerent on-ball defender. He will really get after you when he's sticking close to the route. And once he gets locked in on what the route is, he does a nice job of mirroring the route, of feeling the route, keeping himself in position to make plays. It's just the speed element. And how is he going to play when the play goes down the field? I'm looking at from a size standpoint, at 5'10", 184, a 4.5, 440, kind of very average short area quickness numbers. I don't know, Cynthia. I don't know if he's going to be a nickel. I don't know if they're going to continue to play him outside. I mean, the athletic profile for cornerbacks, it does matter typically when you're looking at playing in the NFL.
With the 200th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Jaden Crumedy, defensive tackle, Mississippi State.
Okay, big man from Mississippi State. He tends to just get off the ball and try to hit anything that's in his way. He's got to play with a little bit more control with his hands. But he's got good shed to tackle quickness. That's something that not everyone has at defensive tackle. You're a little late to shed, so he's got some ability.
With the 240th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Michael Barrett, linebacker, Michigan. Key!
Yeah, someone just didn't run as fast, Rich. If he'd have ran a little bit faster, he ran that 4.7 flat 40. But someone who was a stat stuffer in terms of the 3 sacks, the 3 forced fumbles, really, really quick hands, can play off blocks. Thought he played faster than that 40 time. Thought he could also cover running backs as well. This is again another Michigan player. They play downhill. I mean, they are so aggressive. I'm excited to see this scheme with the Chargers next year with Jesse Minter because it just feels like they're always playing forward, CD. They're always attacking.
Yeah, and one thing they're also going to do with that scheme is have some people up front that are going to control some things.